Here we have for sale our March 2020 on A20 plate Ford Transit Connect. This is the 240 model, meaning it's got a 2.4 ton gross vehicle weight. This one has got the 1.5 litre Eco Blue diesel Euro 6 engine producing 120 brake horsepower in this particular van, accompanied with a 6-speed manual gearbox. And this is the long wheelbase limited panel van. And what we're going to do in this video is have a little walk around. I'll show you the spec that you get on a limited panel van of this age, but we'll also talk you through the condition of this example, seeing as it is currently available for sale at the time of recording. So starting here then at the rear of the vehicle, this one, as you can see here, is spec'd with rear barn doors. So barn doors are two doors which open like so. And on a limited, you do get a number of elements which come color coded. So that includes the door handles all around the vehicle and also the front bumper as well. The rear bumper doesn't come color coded as standard. Of course, this is such a high traffic area with items moving in and out of the load area. I guess they choose not to color code it for that reason, but you do get rear parking sensors there as standard. This one has got an optional extra, which you can see here, of a reversing camera as well, but that is not where the spec ends. There's an incredible spec on this van. Very, very impressive indeed. If we open up the rear barn doors, this isn't anything wrong with the paint. This is just a little bit of water. We just caught in a bit of a shower here 2 minutes ago. But yeah, condition of this van is lovely. If we open up the rear barn doors here, can push on that little yellow button there, and that allows you to open the rear doors up so they're full 180 degree position. And of course you can do exactly the same with the other door as well, giving you maximum accessibility then into the rear of the van. Looking inside here then, we can see that we've got ply lining on the sides of the vehicles, and that is there of course to protect the vehicle from any outward dents. If you've got cargo moving around in the back of here when you're driving, it's not going to cause a nasty outward dent. The floor then is a nice hard wearing plastic floor, plenty of tie down points around the rear of the vehicle, and we can see that this one has as well got of course the factory fitted bulkhead, which can be removed. They are just bolted in around the outside, but that gives you that separation between the cab and the load space. You can see here as well we have got the load through hatch, so once that hatch is picked up, you can drop the passenger seat, which I'll show you a little bit later in the video, and that allows you to get some longer load lengths there coming into the front of the cab. Fantastic condition here in the back of the van, as I'm sure you'll agree. Obviously feel free to take time to pause the video at any point if you want to have a further look at something. This one, before we leave as well, this one again another little factory option there. This one has got an LED load light in there as well, giving you some better lighting in lower light conditions. Looking then down the driver's side of the vehicle, and this is where we can start to have a look, I say, down the side of the vehicle. You can just see how clean and straight this vehicle is, looking very, very tidy indeed. This colour is called Race Red. We don't see many Connects actually in Race Red, but I do think it looks very, very striking indeed when you accompany that with the black alloy wheels. Very, very smart. Little pin dent just up here, just where my finger is there. I don't know if you can see that just there in the light, so tiny little pin dent there. We will have our paintless dent removal specialist have a look at that to see if he can improve it, but not massively severe. Looking at the front then of the vehicle, we can see here that we have got, as I say, these lovely gloss black alloy wheels. These are 16-inch proper Ford alloy wheels. You can see we've got Falcon tyres here on the front as well, which is always a sign this vehicle has been well maintained. Opening up the driver's door then, we can start to have a look at some of the spec inside that you get here as a driver. So we have electric windows, we have electric folding mirrors, and that's how those are operated there. You need to put the dial to the center position and then push that down, and that is how those are operated. So very nice to see that. We've got the lovely leather multifunctioning steering wheel on the left hand side here. Then we've got your onboard computer controls. You've got cruise control underneath that. On the right hand side then, you've got your volume for the radio, and also you can answer and hang up the phone. Auto-activated lights, auto-activated wipers as well. We've got two full remote keys with the vehicle, but you'll notice they are not, of course, in the ignition or anything like that at the moment. So you have got actually keyless start on this vehicle, and as you can see, we have got two keys with it, which is very, very nice. Bit of extra storage up here on top of the dashboard, and there's a 12-volt socket inside there as well. Looking at the driver's seat, lovely condition there of the driver's seat, and you've got plenty of adjustability as well, so height adjustability, etc. on that. Looking at the floor, there's a tiny bit of wear here, just sort of an indentation where sort of a heel would have been resting from a previous driver. Very common to see that, but as I say, no excessive signs of wear inside here. Again, things like the steering wheel, as I say, all absolutely as we would expect. Looking then into the centre, and this is where, as I say, the spec is very, very impressive on this vehicle. So we've got the sync screen in the middle, and I've got my phone plugged in. I'll show you where in a second. But that is gives you Apple CarPlay. You've also got Android Auto on here as well, but an absolutely fantastic system to have Apple CarPlay on here. You can use things like your Apple Maps. You can listen to your music via Apple Music or Spotify if you prefer, or even navigate via Google Maps if you prefer that. If we go back onto the sync page here, on the audio section there, you can see that we have got DAB radio up there in the top left hand corner, and if I put the vehicle into reverse, that's where you've got your rear camera display there as well. So really nice setup on there, it must be said. Looking a little bit lower down, you can see this is where you've got your keyless start button, and then into the center then we've got a heated driver's seat, we've got heated wing mirrors, you've got air conditioning and a heated windscreen there. So all of that comes as standard on the limited model, but a very, very impressive spec, it must be said. Down here then you can put the vehicle into an eco mode if you want to. You can turn your traction control off, and you've got your start-stop toggle just there as well. We've also then, as I mentioned at the start of the video, 6-speed manual gearbox to go along with that 120 brake horsepower engine. When you accompany that with, you know, the cruise control, it's this 1.5 litre diesel engine, very economical, these vans, and as I say, very comfortable. And the spec you get in here is, as I say, very impressive. 12-volt socket just down there, and lots of versatility with these passenger seats. So you can pick the seat up, and that unveils a little cubby hole under there, and that's where I've got my phone plugged in there in one of the 2 USB points. Looking at the backrest then, there's a little red tab just there. Give that a good pull, and that will fold down a little work tray there with a couple of cup holders and also somewhere to store your paperwork as well. And then on the other side, a little red tab up on top of there. Give that a pull, and that folds down, and that's where you get that load through hatch there from the back of the van. So lots and lots of versatility there to take advantage of. Moving then round to the front of the vehicle, is that maybe a tiny little touch in possibly just there on the front bumper, very minor. But looking, I'd say, taking a really good look here at the condition, maybe a couple of minor stone chips and things like that. I didn't show you the mileage actually. How have I forgotten to show you that? I do apologise. I can't move on before I show you that. 22,177 miles. You can just see it in the top left-hand corner of the screen there. Sorry, I have not shown you that. Moving then, as I say, round to the front, a couple of minor stone chips, but otherwise looking really, really clean and tidy. It must be said, as I say, obviously take the time to pause the video if there's anything that you want to have a closer look at. We've got the front fog lights on here, as I mentioned, colour-coded front bumper as well. And then looking finally then down the driver's side, again I can see a tiny little pin dent just around here. I can't actually see it now from this angle, but yeah, tiny little pin dent just there. See above my finger. Very small. Again, we will have a chap look at that, and a couple of sort of minor little touch-ins around the vehicle. Nothing severe there, but a couple of little touch-ins on little stone chips and things like that. Opening up the side loading door. Gives you another aspect then of the load space from this side and that lovely bulkhead. If you open up the passenger door, this is what I mean by the load through space. So once the hatch is open, you can load all the way through, right the way into the passenger footwell. This lifts up, a little handle just here, that lifts up and clips back into place. And then you can actually as well, there's a little handle down the front here, you can pick that up, and you can actually store that seat sort of out of the way as well. So you can maybe put a box in here or something you wanted to put in the front there with you. I say lots of versatility on those passenger seats. So just to summarise then, a March 2020 on a 20 plate Ford Transit Connect. It's the 240 model, so 2.4 tonne gross vehicle weight, 1.5 litre Eco Blue diesel engine producing 120 brake horsepower. It's the L2 or long wheelbase with, of course, the low roof, limited panel van, 120 brake horsepower, Euro 6 as well, so you can take this vehicle into the ultra low emission zone areas such as central London, also places like Bristol have just introduced it, so you can take it into those areas without having to pay the ultra low emissions zone charge, or the clean air zone charge, as different places call it. Fantastic condition throughout, lovely spec as well, very, very impressive, with things like the sync screen in there, the heated driver's seat, air conditioning of course, absolutely lovely condition throughout, finished in, as I say, the very striking race red, which I do really like actually, with the gloss black alloy wheels. This vehicle, I'm not sure if it has as of yet, but probably by the time you've watched this video, will have been through our workshop. Of course, we thoroughly check everything before it goes out. I think one of the key fobs needs a battery, for instance. It's still working, but there is a warning for that, the vehicle tells you. So that, of course, will be replaced, and as I say, the vehicle will be serviced as well before it leaves us to keep up with its manufacturer's warranty, which you've got until March 23. If you'd like to see the full advert, if you haven't done so already, please head over to our website, bridgeendvans.co.uk. This is where you'll find the photography, the price, and the description of this vehicle. We will welcome inquiries on either of the numbers listed there at the bottom of the sign, so please pause the video there if you'd like to make a note of either of those. We can arrange delivery nationwide of all of our vehicles. We can, of course, arrange part exchange for cars or vans, and we can also arrange finance at very competitive rates as well, if you'd like to spread the cost of your new lovely red Transit Connect. Thank you very much for watching.